what this is well, this example shows a problem with React, which is as it says here, a popular JavaScript framework for writing reactive interfaces in the browser. And what they wanted to make here is a sort of interactive table of contents for a document, and it shows here a picture of how it's supposed to look like. And the idea is that we have a button which we click, and it causes a header to appear, an appendix header to appear here, and above this these two headers, because there's an introduction header that is always displayed, and this appendix header is only displayed when we click the button, and when we click it again it disappears. And the idea is that above this we have a table of contents which just shows these headers, and it shows it by just querying the document, the browser document, for h1 tags, HTML tags, which are used to create these headers, and it collects them into a HTML list. I mean, that's the end result anyway. And this goes through the machinery of React, and it is supposed to work like this. But the problem is that this table of contents actually does not refresh. When we click this button, this appendix appears here, but it's not reflected in this table of contents. When we can click on this button and nothing changes here, only here. And in this system that I'm developing, this is not a problem because there is no React. There's only a basically the browser functionality plus syntax sugar, which is created by this syntax that I have created for this whole system, which is called JDAML, which allows to specify kind of declaratively components, HTML components that will be created from JavaScript. So instead of writing imperative commands, we can just say what we want. I mean, basically just like in React, but it is much simpler and also easier to write. So we can see actually how this works live. So we have this source, and we can convert it to see how it converts to HTML, and this particular part is going to be around here. And if we render it to a live version of HTML, it looks like this. And this is the part that demonstrates the example. We have this button. I put it above instead of below because that's easier to work with, because otherwise when this appears, this button would move up and down, and this is annoying. So I click this button, and as we can see, an appendix appears here, and it is also reflected in the table of contents. And all of this is made, basically all the code that creates this functionality is here, is basically here, and we can compare it to the React code. We can see that we have the same logical division. So we have the TOC, which stands for table of contents, component, which is a function, and we have an app component, which is the entire, well, let's say, app. I mean, just this little example. So in React it is written like this here. But the basic part where we declaratively create those HTML elements, it looks very similar, in fact. So this is React, the JSX syntax, which is supposed to mimic HTML, but it's actually not HTML. And here we have JDAML, which is the syntax I have developed. So we can see that we have a button We have a button here as well. This button has some on-click handler installed, which in this case sends an event which will update the state of this component. I mean, it will just redraw the entire thing, change the state and then redraw the entire thing. And in React we have this handler attached, which uses the built-in React state handling code to supposedly update it, but in the end it ends up not working. And yeah, and we have this table of contents component created here, and this is my version. And we have an introduction header here, and this is how it looks in React. And this button actually has the content, like the label of this button is dependent on state, so it will say hide or show appendix depending on this variable that is in the state, just like it's written in React here. And the table of contents component, which looks like this in React, is my version is here. So it's very simple. It just returns a unordered list HTML element that represents an unordered list, and the items from this list are just queried from the document, all the h1 tags. So it's exactly the same code essentially as here. So this component just creates an unordered list, just like here, and goes through all the selected h1 tags, actually their text content, and wraps them in list elements to be displayed. But the problem is that it doesn't work here because React cannot really cooperate nicely with the built-in browser API for querying the document, and it cannot react to the changes in the DOM tree. So, and here there's no problem because this is just essentially this app component is responsible for redrawing this table of contents. So that is that. Anyway, I think this is enough for now.